What's up, fam? Coach Jay Flay, straight out of Southern California, where today we got snow. Go figure. But I'm at home today. I decide, let me see what's happening on YouTube. Catch up on sports. First thing comes up, Coach Eric Bienemy. What's up, fam? I'm watching this press conference. And I say to myself, how? How has this man not yet been offered a head coaching job in the NFL? I really don't understand it. Because as I'm watching and listening to everything this man has to say, it makes me think of something that I've heard from time to time in my lifetime, whether it be about myself or someone like me, such as a Coach Bienemy. And I said, he's had multiple interviews, but he speaks so well. He's so eloquent. You know, that's what that other side sometimes says in regards to a person like Eric Bienemy. And again, I'm watching this press conference and I'm saying there's something wrong when a press conference is built up to this magnitude for a non-head coach announcement or a non-general manager announcement. How does a coordinator have such a big first day? There's something wrong with that, people. I heard some folks say, it's not a lateral move. Oh no, this is bigger position. Last I checked, his title was offensive coordinator. His last title was offensive coordinator. I don't care how you slice it, people. It's a lateral movement. It's a lateral move. Some people may say, well, he'll have more power. He'll be able to do this. He'll be able to do that. He'll be able to choose his coaches. He'll be able to choose his players. He'll be able to do this. He'll be able to do that. Roll it back. He is the offensive coordinator, not the head coach, not the general manager, not the VP of player personnel, not the president of the team, not the owner of the team. Speaking of which, ownership may be changing of the Washington team anyway. And we all know what happens more often than not. When new ownership comes, the entire staff goes vamoose. So, why does someone with the resume of an Eric Bienemy, a Coach Eric Bienemy, have to make a lateral movement? Go take a look at the last 10 Super Bowl winners and losers. I challenge you. And then, following the Super Bowl, find out what happened to the offensive coordinators of not only the winning team, but the losing team of that Super Bowl. Go and find out. I bet more than half were offered head coaching jobs somewhere else. Throw in the quarterback coach as well, because sometimes they get those two intertwined and they're sometimes one and the same. But go and take a look. Just the last 10 Super Bowls. No further, although you could. But go take a look at the last 10 Super Bowls. And I bet at least half of the offensive coordinators of both winning or losing team, I bet at least half of them either accepted or declined head coaching positions. So why is it that someone who's gone to 3 Super Bowls, won 2, why is it that that guy can't get a head coaching job? He's had I believe somewhere is around some double figure amount of interviews. Rooney Rule. Good intentions, horrible application. It wasn't an accident, people. It wasn't an accident. I also heard someone say, he's got nothing to lose. He's got nothing to lose. You mean someone leaving a juggernaut of an offense in Kansas City to go to that snail of an offense in Washington? And nothing to lose? Ask the fans of Washington. They're very familiar with losses. People, Coach Bienemy has everything to lose going to a place like Washington. Nothing to lose. Nothing left to prove. Nothing left to win. Those are some of the things I've heard from commentators. What happened in Super Bowls? Any of you out there think Kansas City doesn't have an opportunity to win at least one more Super Bowl over the next 3 or 4 years? Maybe 2 over the next 5? We all know health plays a whole lot in whether or not a favorite team wins or not, but let's just say the team is healthy for the next 5 years. Mahomes is healthy over the next 5 years. Would you bet Kansas City couldn't win 2 more Super Bowls over the next 5 years? I didn't think so. Are you willing to bet a healthy Patrick Mahomes and intact Kansas City Chiefs football team couldn't win at least 1 more Super Bowl in the next 5 years? I'll wait. Still waiting. I didn't think so. Not one of you will volunteer for that vote, for that bet. So that's what he had to lose. More rings, more prestige. I hear people say players should take pay cuts in order to win Super Bowls. Be a team player. Take a pay cut. Do the team a solid. It's about winning championships. It's not about the money. It's never about the money. Bullshit. It's always about the money. But that's a subject for another day. Getting back to the Super Bowls. Would any of you people who say that Would you say the same thing about Bill Belichick? In 2006, just throwing out a date, a year, just throwing out a year. Nothing of significance, but I'm just saying, 2006. Would any of you have said, hey, Bill, you've won a few Super Bowls. Stop being greedy. Go ahead and sit down on the beach somewheres. Go in someone's GM office. Go to TV. Go to radio. You've got nothing left to prove. Nothing left to win. Go ahead and relax. Your legacy is set in stone. What would that have meant to Bill Belichick? He would have missed out on how many Super Bowls? How many Super Bowl appearances? Better yet, how many Super Bowl victories would he have missed out on if he'd gone by that logic? But somehow the rules are different for Eric Bienemy. Eric's got to leave a penthouse on Park Ave and move into the slums. Coach Bienemy is being asked to take shit and turn it into a diamond. Last I checked, you at least needed coal. I didn't know diamonds came from shit. But somehow, he's been made lesser than. Another comments that have been thrown out for Bienemy. Well, it's not him. He doesn't call the plays. The big man calls the plays. The big lovable guy, Andy Reid, calls the plays. He's the head coach and offensive coordinator. Mahomes is the guy who makes it work. Anybody can win Super Bowls with Mahomes. Somebody want to explain Josh McDaniel to me? I'm going to come back to that asshole later. But again, different rules. See, somebody like Eric Bienemy can't make his bones off of a Mahomes. But guess what, people? Bienemy's predecessor played the same role in Kansas City as Eric Bienemy has over the past few years. Guess what happened to him? He became head coach of the Chicago Bears. He didn't last long, but he got his opportunity. He was the same OC in Kansas City then that Eric Bienemy has been since he left. And Eric has won Super Bowls. But Eric can't get a job. Yet the previous OC had offers. Became the Chicago Bears head coach. Fired last year. Coincidentally, he's been hired to take his old job back in Kansas City as their offensive coordinator. Anybody want to take a guess on how long it'll take for him to get his next NFL head coaching opportunity? Better yet, are you willing to bet? Let's go back to that whole scenario of Kansas City being healthy, Mahomes being healthy and solid over the next 5 years. If Nagy wins a Super Bowl or two over the next 5 years as offensive coordinator in Kansas City, are you willing to bet he's not going to be someone's head coach in 3 to 5 years? Hit me in the comments. I'm not a betting man, but I'm willing to take that bet. And anybody that knows me knows I don't bet unless I'm pretty sure I'm going to win. So if you ever come across me and I offer you a bet, don't take it. It's a good chance I'm going to win. Heck, it may be a good bet to say who's going to be a head coach first, Nagy or Bienemy. We'll see. But just to take it back a little bit, so what if it's Mahomes who makes it run? So what if they win Super Bowls because Mahomes is so great, which he is. And when it's all said and done, may be the greatest to ever do it. But so what if it's him? How many head coaches did Peyton Manning groom? How many head coaches did Tom Brady groom? How many head coaches did Aaron Rodgers groom? You see where I'm going? Can you see the one commonality between the quarterbacks that I mentioned? If you didn't, let me give you a second. Now, if you want to go and find out the name of all the coaches that they groomed, hit me back in the comments on the commonality between those guys. It's no cap here, baby. I told you I was coming. I'm here. I made it. Brought my bags with me. They weren't Louis, but they made it here with me. There's no capping. That brings me back to Josh McDaniel, that guy over there in Las Vegas for the Raiders. Somebody want to explain to me why the Raiders would fire a coach who won, took them to the playoffs, and if not for an outstanding closing by the Bengals, would have provided them with their first playoff win since, be my guess. Was that not proof enough that maybe he should be given an opportunity to coach for an entire season? Unfortunately for that brother, he wasn't on the right team. And I'm not talking about the Raiders. Because with all that happened with the Raiders during that year, with Chucky getting fired mid-season, having a losing record, and then for that coach to come in with all the turmoil, to come in and make the Raiders winners, take them to the playoffs, and be a minute away from winning a Super Bowl game. Why would he even need an interview? The 2 months on the job should have been an interview enough. No interview needed. We found our coach. The players stepped their game up for this guy. He won. Something we haven't done around here. But what do they go and do? They do what the Raiders do. They went and hired a loser. I said it, people. It is what it is. No capping. McDaniels is a loser. Anybody want to tell me he would be a head coach without Tom Brady? Let's take your own lives. Because the NFL is one big family. It's not like in the real world, well, something happens at your job, you lose it for whatever reason, you go across the street, you get another job. They don't know what happened across the street. They just know they like you, they want to hire, they're giving you an opportunity. It's not that case in the NFL. You get fired in the NFL, the other 31 teams know about it. Not only do the other 31 teams know about it, but millions of people around the world know about it. Can't hide your indiscretions. Because we're going to talk about you getting fired for the next 2 weeks. So, let's go back to you losing your job for whatever reason. Whether you walked away or you got kicked out. You got shown the door. Can't go across the street now and hide what happened. They know. You can't go to the neighboring town to find another job without them knowing what happened at your previous employer. They're all in the same family. They can share the information. They know as well. So what do? I'm going to move. I'm going to go to another state. Doesn't matter. Before you showed up, they knew about your firing. They knew about you quitting. Imagine job hunting. Imagine losing your job, trying to find another job, and every potential employer knows exactly, almost exactly, why you're there and not with your previous employer or current employer, soon to be ex-employer. And then imagine someone saying, you know what? I don't care what happened over there. I think you're worth it. Come on over here, work for me. And together we'll do great things. And you say, thank you, miss. Thank you, mister. I'm going to be the greatest employee you've ever had. You will never regret giving me an opportunity to serve. Your new employer says, be here on Monday morning. I want to introduce you to the crew. And you say, yes, miss. Yes, mister. I'll be here bright and early Monday. Monday morning comes. You're a no-show. You decided to hell with it. I don't want to work. Now remember, everyone is going to find out that you quit a job before showing up to work that job, without ever showing up to work that job. You no-showed your first day of work. And everybody will learn of it. Because for the next month, all anyone will do is talk about it. Now I ask you, would you, as an employer, be willing to hire that potential employee? Do you think that employee would have a great chance of getting another opportunity at a great executive position? If you got any sense, you're saying no. No shot. That's the real world. NFL has made his own world. Because that example I just gave, that's Josh McDaniel. First of all, he had the luck of being the Patriots OC with Tom Brady as his quarterback. Of course, the Patriots won Super Bowls. So guess what was the natural thing for the Broncos to do? Hire the OC from the Patriots. Bring that Belichick magic, bring that Brady magic to Denver. Make us a contender again, a winner again, a champion again. That didn't last long, people. They kicked him out not long after he arrived in Denver. After he got shown out, kicked out, guess where he went? He went back to his buddy Brady. Patriots kept winning. Guess what happened? Indianapolis said, come on over. Bring that magic. We know Denver didn't understand. Come on over. Bring that magic. We got the position for you. Come be our head coach. Come be our executive. Come be our executive VP. We're going to pay you the top dollar. We're going to give you an opportunity to prove everybody wrong. Be here Monday morning. Press conference is on. Josh McDaniel says, I'll be there, Mr. Irsay, with my tap shoes on. Guess what happened? Josh McDaniel said, nah, never mind. I know you told all the other candidates that you'd found your guy. Thank you for coming. You found your guy. Well, your guys had second thoughts. I don't want it, Jim. Go back to the drawing board. He quit the job on his first day. He didn't even start his first day. He just no-showed. But somehow this guy got another opportunity and is currently the head football coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. But there's millions that say there's no double standard. There are millions that say the rules are not different for people like Eric Bienemy. What do you think? Quarterbacks are important, people. If you want to win games at any level of football, you must, all caps, and I'm not talking about the cap I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the capping I'm selling. I'm talking about all capital letters. Shout it out. Must. I have a son who has an opportunity to become someone that you may possibly hear about someday. And one thing that was important to me was to be able to coach my son's youth teams. And oftentimes, our teams didn't match skill for skill position with our opponents. And I knew it going into a lot of the games that we were going to be overmatched at the skill positions. But I never feared. Never feared. And always felt like I was going to win. Because even though I may have thought this team has a superior skill set, I knew I always went in with the best quarterback on the field. For years, I went onto the field knowing I had a shot to win just because I know my son. And I knew no matter what field I stepped on, he was going to be the best quarterback on the field. And we won games because he could make all the throws at a young age. So yes, Kansas City is going to win. Yes, Indianapolis with Peyton Manning, or any team Peyton Manning is on, is going to win. Quarterbacks are important. You must have them. And so now he's going to go from Mahomes to, I'm guessing, Sam Howell. Nothing against Mr. Howell. I've been watching him since he came out of high school. I've been a fan all through his North Carolina days. I watched a lot of North Carolina games because I enjoyed watching Howell play. And I believe he's got an opportunity to do something in the NFL. But will he be given the chance, the proper chance to do it? Because remember, that team could be sold at any time. And if that's the case, there could be a house cleaning. But regardless of whether he gets a fair shake or not, he won't be Mahomes. So to everyone that says Coach Bienemy has got nothing to lose, it's not a lateral movement, he has a lot to lose. Number one, which I think we established earlier, the possibility of Super Bowl rings. Now, it's sad that Coach Bienemy has to, again, leave a high-rise penthouse on Park Avenue to go to the slums. And they're asking him to build the slums into a high-class tower. If Coach Bienemy does not turn Washington into a top 10 offense, he will be deemed a failure. He will be on a short leash. If ownership stays as is, he's got 3 years to turn that offense into one of the top 10 offenses in the NFL. If he does not do it, he will be fired. He will be fired. And I don't mean number 11, 12, 13, 14. If he is not in the top 10, he will be fired in 3 years. I don't care how much they move up in standings offensively. To give another example, if they are 32nd in offense, in total offense, and they move up to 16th in total offense, that's fantastic. That's outstanding progress, people. But not for Coach Bienemy. If he does not get to the top 10, he will be deemed a failure. And people will say, I told you so. It was Coach Reed. It was Mahomes. It was not Coach B. He will be fired in 3 years. And then I ask you, you think he'll ever be given an opportunity to get a head coaching position in the NFL? He will not. Because he will have to go and be a running back coach somewhere else. Not an offensive coordinator like a lot of these other guys get to do. I believe he'll have to be a running back coach. And after about 3, 4, 5 years as a running back coach, he may get an opportunity to be an OC again. But he'll likely never be in talks for another head coaching position. Not legitimately. Rooney Rule be damned. How's that fair? But life's not fair, right? I know in my career, I've always had to take the worst jobs. And when I say worst jobs, I don't mean working for bad employers, or bad companies, I should say. But I've taken the more challenging locations in order to move up. Because I knew I couldn't have it the easy route. I had to prove I could turn shit into diamonds. And that's what Coach B is going to have to do. People, change is coming. Just take some time. It's slow. But we are progressing. And hopefully, Coach B, I'm rooting for you. Coach Eric Bienemy, I am rooting for you. You deserve an opportunity. Stay strong. And I believe you will be successful. The day your press conference comes and they're announcing you as their head coach, I'll be giving you a standing ovation. Thank you for listening, people. Coach Jay Flay. No capping media, baby. We getting it out the mud. No capping.